Hello? Hello? I don't know what the hell is going on. Okay, I can hear myself now. That was so weird. Why did that even happen? Should be better now, right? I'm pretty sure the quality's probably more shit too, because I don't have noise suppression. Okay, what about now? Is it better now? Now, test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that sounds way better. I can hear myself. Perfect quality. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I was just minding my own business and then my audio just messed up, so whatever. Anyways, where was I? Let's go over here. Let's log in. Alright, so yesterday we ended off with, we were trying to send the typing status. We were trying to send the typing status to the backend, and we left off with querying the database for the correct conversation. But the problem is that every single time you do that, every single time you query the database whenever the user is typing, that's not necessarily good, because that means that you're performing one database read, and that's not necessarily good because you don't want to do that. So I think the best thing to do is this. Someone yesterday on the stream was talking about rooms, right? And right now, the way that we are handling sending events to users is by just figuring out if they are connected to the client, but we don't know if they are in a chat room or not. So what exactly are rooms? We're gonna have to kind of like do some research on rooms, because that's kind of something that I've never really worked with before. I mean, I'm fairly into sockets. Yo, what's up, Creative Works? Welcome to the stream. So basically, a room is an arbitrary channel that sockets can join and leave. So you have basically just client A and client B, and they can join a room, right? So you can see over here, they're connected here, and they're in one room. And it can be used to broadcast events to a subset of clients. So this 100% has to be the best option that we have, because I don't think there's any other option that we would have when it comes to working with chat rooms. And I think this would be the best option when it comes to scalability. So now we just have to figure out how would we handle rooms necessarily, right? So for example, whenever we have an incoming connection, well, what exactly does that mean when we have an incoming connection? Because if we have an incoming connection, does that mean that the user is in a conversation, or have they not clicked on a conversation yet? What does that mean? So for example, if I go to the conversations route, does it consider that a new connection? Wait, let me move this here. So it doesn't look like, okay, so it does consider a new connection. You can see that it will say new incoming connection. Okay. Now the only issue is that the user has not joined the room yet, which is fine. So how do we know when they join a room? Well, if they click on a conversation, then that means they've joined the room. So if I click on here, 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 that is considered joining a room. Okay. And but the other issue is like, okay, well, technically they should belong in multiple rooms, because if the user is typing, we should be able to see the typing status on this side over here. So let me see something real quick. Let me move the console to the other screen. Easier for me to see. So if we call socket.join, you can call socket to subscribe to a given channel. you can emit to several rooms at the same time. In that case, a union is performed. A default room, okay. What is going on? How are you? What is your name again? I've seen you here the past few days, but I don't really know what your name is. If you tell me what your name is, I'll remember. Yo, what's going on, Vi? How are you? Okay, so you can see that over here, we have a room. So clearly we have this room, right? And I'm guessing is this the room that the user's in? That's what I'm assuming, right? Because if I compare this to console.log, this at server.room. I wonder what this does. Let's look at this. I'm doing good, thank you. Okay, so if I join the room, you can see that in the set, I'm technically in two rooms. I am in this room, and I am in Hello World room. Okay, that's good. So that means we know that we can actually join rooms based on the conversation, which is actually pretty good, right? So we can use this to actually distinguish if the user is in the same room as the other user. Now, technically, it's never going to be only two users in the room, because what we want to do is we want to solve the problem where if the user logs in from a different device, then that other device or that other window should also receive the events too. It's kind of like if you log in from Discord, from the desktop client, and then you log in from the browser, right? You technically should still be able to see both events. You should receive both events, right? So it's not tailored to the user, it's tailored to all of the connected clients that the user's on. Lastly, what's up? Welcome back to the stream. How are you? Moncode, how are you doing? Welcome to the stream. Nice to see you all here today. So I'm trying to think what would be the best way that we can work on rooms, because we can definitely get the individual client, but how do we make sure that we join the correct room? Right? And most importantly, we need to also know what conversation they are joining, right? Because you can see that over here it says new incoming connection. We're logging the user, but we don't have any information about actually, you know what? I think I know what we could do. Watch this. Let's go into the React app. And basically, whenever we click on a channel page or a conversation page, right, we're basically subscribing to two events. We're subscribing to onConnected and we're subscribing to onMessage, right? And in the backend, we are listening to handle connection, which I think that's the correct event. That's the connect event. I'm not too entirely sure. Let me actually see something. Here's what I'm gonna do. So you can see over here that we are getting connected, and that's coming from line 20. What's going on? Wait, let me refresh. It should say connected somewhere. I honestly believe that this event never even fires, to be honest. Let me just double check. From the looks of it, yeah, it doesn't ever fire. I don't think it does. Yeah, it doesn't. I think honestly we're listening to the wrong event. Let me try socket on connect. Planning to create chat app. Nice. That's great. Yo, what's up, Tchaikovsky? How are you? Welcome back to the stream. Nice to see you here. Okay, so I think we're listening to the wrong event. I'm guessing. Or maybe when we handle a connection, we need to manually emit event. But we are doing it though. You can see that we are emitting the connected event. So why would we not receive that is what I'm confused about. We are... Yeah, I'm really confused why we're not receiving the connected event. We were receiving it before, but for some reason we're not receiving it now, which is really confusing to me. New incoming connection. You can see that the backend is 100% receiving the connection. Right, you can see that over here. Socket.emit connected. Status good. That's really interesting. It's not logging anything, which is really weird to me. That's very interesting. Connected, connect. Yeah, I don't know why. I'm not sure why. The event is not being emitted. Don't think I can do this either. It's most likely because of what we're doing. I'll show you. Okay, so now it logs it. So what about, so it seems like it's not logging it when it first. Huh, that's weird. That's really weird. Connected. So unconnected. If I refresh, it doesn't want to listen to the event. I think, honestly, I think I might know why. Let me look at this. Yeah, I've done so much work. God damn. Yeah, we made a lot of progress over the past 5 days, which is great. And right now we're just focusing on the small stuff. On gateway connection, okay. We are implementing this. Handle connection. I'm new to coding and all I get to code is algorithms for now. That's good. I mean, algorithms are important. I'm assuming that you're in school, right? University? Learning data structures and algorithms. Forces to implement the handle connection method takes library-specific client socket instances as an argument. I'm really confused of what the hell is going on. If I save, and if I refresh, nothing happens, which is really annoying. But I don't know why it only receives the event when I'm not really sure. Handle connection. Right, so whenever an incoming connection happens, right, we should socket emit I'm really confused why the client would not receive the event. Maybe I'm doing it wrong, I'm not sure. But it's receiving the message events perfectly fine. It just doesn't want to receive the connection or connect event, which is really weird to me. Let me look at something real quick. Because I did this the other day when I was making my tutorial. So maybe I can find out what is going on if I look at that piece of code that I wrote previously. So I listened to on connect, okay, and if I go to the backend version of that, let me see. Let's go to gateway. Yeah, I think what I've realized is this. On connect. What I've realized is handle connection works, but it's a lot different than if we were to actually, let me see. Console log this real quick. Yo, what's up, chat? MX, how are you? Welcome to the stream. Okay, so we can see that we have our server over here. So we have our server, and then we have our socket. Okay, so there are two different things. Let me see, the type annotation of this was server. So if I do server on, Zarden, yo, thanks so much for joining as a developer. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Hope you're doing well. Let me show you something real quick. So we can see connections happening here. And if I refresh, let's see what happens. We still don't receive the event. Okay, I think it's an issue with React and not the backend. I'm just trying to understand the code that you're doing. Well, I'm really just trying to debug an issue right now, and I think I figured out that it's actually something to do with the front end, I think, and the way that we are consuming the event. I don't think it's something to do with the backend though, which is really frustrating. Which means that things will be a lot more difficult for what we're trying to do, because now we understand this, but we'll make it work. We'll make it work. Let me do this. Let me control Z a little bit. So we're trying to emit this event connected, right? But the client doesn't want to receive it for some reason. Let me control Z here as well. Okay, let me open up Postman. Also, I got yesterday my RAM came in, and my my RAM came in, and my SSD came in, but I haven't had a chance to. I was actually trying to install the SSD, but it didn't come with screws, and I tried looking for these screws that can screw it in, but I couldn't find any in my apartment, so I had to order them. So that came overnight. So I got them this morning, and I'm gonna install my SSD probably later today. So I'm really excited actually. So let's see. Also, Zarden, if you're not on my Discord server, definitely join my Discord server. You'll get an awesome role because you join as a member, and also we have a nice community of people that are willing to help with coding problems. So if you ever have questions with code, you can always ask on the server if you want to, but definitely consider checking it out. Okay, so we are connected, but let's see if I can listen to an event immediately. So the event I want to listen to is the one that we are emitting, which is connected. So connected. Let's see if Postman works. Okay, so connected works. So it's an issue with React, actually. I think. Or not React, but the Socket.io client. Because I'm refreshing and we're not receiving the event. Which is why it confuses me, because we are able to get it on the back end, but why can't we get it on the front end? Yo, I'm on code. Yo, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Thank you for joining as a junior engineer. I appreciate that, man. Definitely, yeah. Make sure you guys join the Discord server too, because if you join the Discord server, you'll get the awesome role, and you'll appear on top of everyone else, which is awesome. But honestly, I don't know if you guys are interested, but I've been thinking about this for like about a couple weeks. I've been thinking about setting something up for members. Basically, what I want to do is, if you're like a YouTube member, you get like direct access to a private channel, and you can just basically ping me for anything, like whether it's questions. It's basically just private assistance. I'm not really sure if people would be interested in that, but that's something that I've been thinking about doing for quite some time. But if you guys are interested, let me know, and I'll consider working on something to get it to work, because I really want to do something for my YouTube members, because I've had this feature for 2 years and I haven't really done anything with it. So, providing private assistance for code, or kind of like just answering questions, directly, I think that's the least that I could probably do for YouTube members. So if that is something that you're interested in, I'll probably put a poll later in the YouTube community. But we'll see what happens. Did you check out Manti? No. Are you in college? No. I can't join Discord server. Why not? Are you banned or something? Did you do something wrong? No, I'm kidding. Let me send you the link. Try this link. Maybe it'll work. But yeah, if that's something that you guys are interested, I'll highly consider it. But right now I'm just so confused why this does not want to work. This socket doesn't want to work. It is really strange to me why it does not want to receive the event. Socket on connected. Like, clearly the Postman client is able to receive it, right? We can listen to more. Alright, let me sync my Discord real quick. Integrations, YouTube, sync. Alright, you should be, if you're not, I think you're offline, I think. But I just synchronize it, so you should be seen on the side. Okay, yeah, so you can see that we are listening to both of these events, but listen to another one. I'm not sure what's the difference between the colors. Yo, the droid, what's up? How's it going? Praneet, do you use Spring Boot for backend? I don't, personally. I know Spring Boot, but I've never really used it for a large project. Okay, so I don't know why. It's weird, right? Because you can clearly see the event being received, but React is not receiving it. Or, I mean, maybe it is, but we're just doing it wrong. Or maybe it's the wrong client that is receiving it. I don't know, which is why it's strange to me, right? Now, what if I try doing this? What if I did this? What is your dev background? I mean, I would just say I'm a full stack developer, and yeah, I would just say I'm a full stack developer if someone were to ask me that. Okay, yeah, and even if I were to manually emit the event to all sockets, it doesn't want to work for some reason, which I'm not really sure why. Socket. What do you prefer for backend? I prefer. Well, I mean, I've always been a Node.js guy, so I'm obviously gonna prefer Node. But if someone told me to use Spring Boot, I wouldn't mind. I use Spring Boot with Kotlin. Nice. Kotlin's really interesting. I've always really wanted to try it out. What is the best language to code front and back end? I mean, there's no best language. There's a language that people prefer, and there's a language that would be more popular, but that doesn't make it the best language. Like, for example, Python is probably, I think, the most popular language, or JavaScript, but that doesn't make it the best language to code backend. Now, obviously, when it comes to front end, you don't really have a choice. You're kind of stuck with JavaScript because that's just kind of the nature of front end development. So, you know, you're really just stuck with JavaScript. But if I were to say backend, the easiest, I would say the easiest would probably be Python. Python and Node.js. Node.js JavaScript. In terms of complexity, I would say .NET and Spring Boot are a little bit more difficult because they require a lot more setup and a lot more discipline. But I would say Node.js and Python are probably the easiest. What course do you recommend to learn TypeScript? I personally never really used a course for TypeScript before, but if you want, I have a video on my channel. I have a TypeScript crash course on my channel if you want to check that out. It covers all the basics, and I hope you like it. Look up on my channel, should be there. Why did I open up my file system? In India, everyone is obsessed with Spring Boot. Yeah, Spring Boot is very popular. How do people really connect frontend to Python? The same way that they would connect it to any other backend. The Python backend is really just you're really just exposing a port on localhost or any URL that anyone can connect to, and so the front end just connects via HTTP. I mean, hi, yo, what's up, Cannons? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, I'm in Discord right now. Why do you prefer VS Code but not JetBrains? I mean, they're two different tools, right? Like, yeah, VS Code, which is it's a lighter weight text editor. JetBrains, for example, if you're talking about IntelliJ, that's completely different because it provides a lot more stuff for you, you know. But I mean, I use IntelliJ for Java projects. Personally, I use it for Java projects, so yeah. I honestly don't know why this is not received. I honestly think it's because of this cleanup function, I think. And this is really problematic because, of course, we want to know when the user's connected. I mean, they're able to receive events, which is good. But I don't really understand what the issue is. Because, again, like, I fail to understand if Postman is able to receive the event, why would we fail to receive the event from... Okay, so we are receiving it. So we are receiving it. You can see that it's being received over here. Okay. Yeah, we are receiving it. Let me refresh. That is interesting. Do you prefer Java or Node? I prefer... I mean, it's not so much what I prefer, it's just so much what I'm good at, you know? Like, I'm way better at Node backend development than... I'm way better at Node backend development, you know, than I am with Spring Boot. And that's the reason why is because I've been using Node way longer. I've been using Node development longer than I've been using with Java, you know? So... I mean, I can say that I prefer Node only because I'm better at Node. Okay, you know, I'm not going to really worry about this because this is really strange. Like, I am clearly receiving the event, but for some reason, the WebSocket server, the WebSocket client does not want to handle it properly, which is why it confuses the hell out of me. Because... yeah, I don't know what's going on. But honestly, I'm not really going to worry about this right now. I wonder if I did remove this use effect hook, if that would change anything. Okay, no, it doesn't. Okay. Yeah, the code is in the description. Make sure you guys fork and star the repository because it's an open source project. If you guys want to contribute, you guys can. Up to y'all. Make sure y'all fork and star the repository on GitHub. Yeah, welcome back to the stream, Ben. How are you? But what's strange to me is that if we are clearly receiving the connected event, which we are over here, I guess socket.io is not initialized yet, which is fine. But it's strange. It's really strange. Anyways, I'm not gonna really worry about that right now. You seem strange when you say y'all. I mean, that's just how I talk. Let me see. Okay, yeah, honestly, I don't really know what the hell is going on with this connection, with this connect. And I have the last question. Where can I find README file? Because the stuff that I found is unreadable. For what specifically? I'm fine. I'm in the job right now. I'm a junior React developer. But I have some quote-unquote free time for myself. That's nice. Well, I think this is my first time seeing you here, but welcome to the stream, Panmiko. And nice to see you here. Happy to have everyone here. I'm really tired too. Yeah, no, I am actually tired because I woke up literally 30 minutes ago and I was like, you know what? I woke up late. I'm going to stream. We're going to make it to day 5. I don't care. I need to formalize get a project. Fire Planet, welcome to the stream. How are you? That's what I'm already doing, Ben. Trust me, that's what I've already been doing. Hey, Anson, developer, do you use WebSocket? Yes, I am. Anyways, I'm going to move on. I'm not going to really worry about this because it's not really a huge deal right now, and I can always figure it out later. But I think what I wanted to do yesterday was I wanted to figure out the is typing issue. And I think the thing is like, okay, well, we kind of need to know if the user is connected because we want to. Well, actually, we can do that, right? Because we can have 2 users join the same room. So, for example, I can have the incoming connection join the room. But how do we get the user to join the same room, though? And again, the problem is that we need to know the conversation that they're joining. But the problem is that we cannot emit the event. I mean, what if I did this, right? What if I did this socket? Let me try listening to an event. And let's go on the front end and let's emit an event from there. So I don't know if this will even work, but let's try. Okay, so clearly that's not gonna work, obviously, because we are emitting it inside and we're not even receiving the event. So let's emit hello and let's see what happens. Okay, so when I emit the event, it works. Okay, so if I refresh, let's see what happens. Okay, so I receive it twice, obviously, because the component renders twice, which does make sense. Yo, Ibrahim, welcome back to our stream. How are you doing? So I can clearly receive the event, which is good, but now the problem is that I'm not receiving the event correctly. I'm not receiving the connected event. So like obviously if I were to connect to the server, I can clearly receive the event, but the way that React handles it, the way that socket IO handles it is really weird. But what if I did this? In the future, if I want to program a device to say turn on lights, what's programming language I use? I think Arduino or Arduino's not a language. I mean, Arduino does have a language, but I think Arduino is what you'd be using, I think. Okay, so clearly over here, socket on connected works, but it does not work inside the component. You can clearly see that it is working, but it's not working inside here. Okay, now what if I go down? What if I try it inside here? What if I were to call the use socket use context hook? Let's refresh. Okay, so I honestly think, let me actually do this. Okay, so it seems like even if I import it inside, okay, so it seems like the problem is this use effect hook. If I do it, if I listen to the connected event on the use connect hook, it won't work. But I'm pretty sure if I do it outside, it will work. Okay, now it doesn't work. Interesting. Yo, what's up, coding freaks? How are you? Welcome to the stream. Nice to see you here again. Coding with Rosla. How are you? Welcome to the stream. Yo, what's up, Alberto? How are you, man? It has been a long time indeed, man. I'm happy to see you here. I know I sound really tired right now, but believe me, I am really happy to see you here. I just woke up almost an hour, less than an hour ago. So, but yeah, how have you been? How have you been? Soma-san. Maybe I've mispronounced that. How are you? Welcome to the stream. Okay, so clearly it works inside app.tsx. Okay, we can clearly receive the event. And the backend will... Yeah, clearly we can receive the event. But why can we not receive it inside here, though? Is what confuses me. If I move this outside over here, what happens? Nothing happens. So that's really strange to me. What's the difference between coding and programming? Honestly, I don't really know what's the difference between those two. I don't really know what's the difference between those two. Yo, Alberto, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I just saw my phone. Thank you, man. I don't know. I feel bad that it doesn't display on the screen, but I just saw my phone, and I really appreciate the donation. Thank you so much, man. I wonder if there's a way you can integrate Coffee with Streamlabs. There has to be. I think there might be a way to integrate it. You know what? I'm going to do that next time. But thank you so much, Alberto. I appreciate it a lot. Yo, Alberto, make sure you're in my Discord server, the new Discord server. Hey, why did you choose MySQL over Redux for chat app? Well, I mean, Redux is not really a database. I mean, you can store key value pairs, but it's for caching mostly. It's not really a replacement for MySQL. When you're joining Fang, I have no idea. Do you work somewhere? I do. I jokingly said you're a coder to someone and they got a little pissed. I don't know why they would get pissed about that. I mean, I don't really know what's the difference between coding and programming. I think they're just the same thing. I think they're just the same terms, to be honest. Okay, so I don't even need to listen. Yeah, I really can't find out why this front end is not receiving, or not, the front end socket is not handling the event. My only guess is that something must have, my only guess is that it removed the socket on connected event. And that's my only guess, is that it unregistered the event and then it doesn't register in time. That's my only guess. But otherwise, I don't know what the issue is. Let's see. If you want to remove unwanted imports, Alt Shift O. Wait, can packages get me a virus? If they yeah, usually sometimes they could. I learned Express from you. Thanks, Anson. Yo, what's up, Valnin? And that's great to hear. Getting closer. Yep, we are. Yeah, the only issue that I'm working on right now is trying to get users to join the correct room on the backend. Because the problem that I'm trying to figure out is how do I get the users to be in the same room? Because we can do socket.rooms, and I can do something like add, right? And then later on I could do rooms, and I could do socket.broadcast. And this would basically emit events to everyone in the room. But the problem is that we need to make sure we get everyone in the same room first, right? But how do we make sure that the user is in the same room? The way that we do that is by knowing what event that they are listening to. Honestly, I really don't like this handle connection hook. I'm gonna just do this implements. I'm gonna do it this way. I'm gonna do this. I already just joined the server. Awesome. How do you store the messages in the database? Did you create a Google sign-in or email and password? I'm using a local strategy, which is basically just a local email and password. So we're saving our own users instead of using a third party. Okay, now if I refresh, it doesn't. I don't get the event. So it's 100% React. It's 100% the socket. Yeah, it's 100% the socket issue. Won't one click selecting help be easier? I mean, yeah, it is, but you know that means you have to rely on a third-party service. It means that you have to rely on a third-party service, which, you know, it's up to you, right? I don't know anything about backend. Do you think SQL is better than Firebase? Well, I mean, Firebase is hosted by Google, and I think it's useful, but I don't think it really teaches you how to use a database. I think what people should learn is how to actually use like the actual MySQL server. And I'm not talking about using code. I'm not talking about like using like an ORM. I'm talking about actually querying the database, learning about joins. You know, I'm referring about that. Yeah, it just really depends on your situation. Like if you are... Yeah, it just really depends on your situation. Let me try this. Will you publish when you complete so we can join? I will probably deploy it, but I'm not going to keep it up because I don't really have any intention on hosting something right now. Considering the fact that I have not really took into account security, yeah, I definitely don't want to be responsible for that. So I'll probably deploy it, but I won't host it. I'll deploy it, let you all test it out, but I probably won't host it though. Okay. Honestly, I think this is okay. We can emit the event, and then whenever the client connects, because even though the even though the event is going to emit twice, that's okay. And it's fine because we're going to be working with unique values anyway, so it doesn't really matter. If it's online and people use it, you have to pay for the servers, yes. And Kita, welcome back to the stream. How are you? How's it going? Yeah, so I think what we could do is we can emit this event, and then we can pass in the conversation. We can do this. We can pass in the conversation ID. Or wait, let's do this. And I can go over here and let's just do this. And if I were to connect, you're going to see that right over here. I get conversation ID number 19. Now, how do we get the authenticated user? Well, that's interesting. There should be a way where we can get the socket, I think. Let me see if the docs have anything. Yep, connected socket. There you go. What do you think about MongoDB? I saw my cousin working on it. I think MongoDB is a great database for the right application type. Srujan, welcome to the stream. How are you? How are you doing? Excuse me. And now watch this. We can get the authenticated user by referencing client.user. So watch this. I'm going to go ahead and refresh. Okay, so this is how we can get the conversation and the authenticated user. So I'm guessing what we could do is whenever the user joins, but here's another problem though. If I click on a new conversation, it doesn't do anything. And it should technically join the room. Yeah, I think maybe I'm thinking of it differently. What do I think about Node? I think Node is a great runtime and has a great ecosystem. I don't think a Node will die anytime soon. At least not for like the next 5 to 10 years. So the problem here is now if I were to connect to a different room, I think maybe we have to do ID, I think. Let's try that. Perfect. Okay, so now you can see that on the console, if I do this. So whenever I change the ID, it works. Perfect. I think honestly, wait. I honestly think maybe could that have also been a reason why I was not receiving the connected event? Well, actually, no, that wasn't. Definitely wasn't. Because if that was the case, I would have saw the event. But clearly I'm not. Let me try this. Socket on client. What about on connection? I tried out PyScript, and I think a few years ago it was surpassed JavaScript. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think Python will ever replace JavaScript for front end. I mean, at least if it ever will, maybe I would say 10 plus years. That's my prediction. And I'm only saying that because I think JavaScript has been around for past 20 years. And I mean, you never know, right? Innovation is always going to take things to the next level. But, people will refuse to change and people will not want to change so quickly. So I think it'll take some time. before it actually, you know, replaces it. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this. Honestly, this is really annoying. But also, I don't want to. Can you share your auth context? The code is in the description if you want to take a look at the code. Isn't it like working back and front at the same time? Yes. You can use a JavaScript for front and back end, which is why it's made it so much better, you know? That's why a lot of people are using front and back end JavaScript now. Back then you couldn't. So honestly, in terms of the user typing status, yeah, honestly, I don't know. This is really weird. How would PyScript ever take? What backend? I'm using NestJS right now. All right, let me see. All right, well, honestly, I'm gonna move on from this. I can't really figure out what the issue is, but I'll have to kind of like think. I have to put more thought on this later. What do you think about Vue? I think, yeah, you know, I will agree that Vue is more beginner friendly. I used Vue when I first started learning, and I really liked it a lot. But the problem that I have with Vue, and this is only a personal problem, right? There's nothing wrong with the framework. It's just that the industry doesn't really hire people. I mean, there are jobs that do use Vue, but it's really, really rare, you know. And that's nothing to do with Vue itself. It's just to do with the fact that the industry is just, you know, fixated with using old technologies, and you know, and that's just what it is, right? That doesn't make Vue a bad framework, right? But it also should make you wonder if you should reprioritize your. It should make you wonder if you should reprioritize what you learn. But I think it's okay to learn Vue because, in my opinion, it teaches you the fundamentals of how a web framework should work. And like I said, once you learn a web framework, you can learn literally anything. You have 17,000 subs, but 30, 40 views, bro. I mean, I don't really think subscriber count really correlates to recurring viewers because, you know, there are people who have millions and millions of subscribers and they only get like 10,000 to 20,000 views. I don't think 17,000 subscribers would really get me, you know, hundreds of views. I mean, who knows, right? I mean, the thing is, like, when I had like 5,000 subs, I would get 20 to 30 viewers. You know, and it just really depends on who's interested in watching. Yo, what's up, Tribe Boy? How are you? Welcome back to the stream. Nice to see you here again. I kind of understand what you're doing, but what does the socket do? The socket is basically okay. So basically, it's a different protocol that allows you to transmit messages in real time. What theme do you use? If you keep working hard and keeping yourself motivated, will get you more subs views. Yeah, that's true. I'm using Min Dark. Clark, welcome back to the stream. How are you doing? Yeah, I think you know, I think I'm not really worried about the viewers, man. Like, you know, I would say this: the past couple of days, we've been getting consistent viewership. We've been getting the same people coming back watching, and that's all that matters to me. I don't really care about getting thousands and thousands of views. I mean, listen, it'd be nice, but I personally don't really care. Like, as long as we have the same, if we have recurring viewers, people chatting, you know, that's all that matters to me. I don't really care about getting millions of views. I mean, listen, I'm not gonna lie, it will make me happy, but it's not something that I am going to lose sleep over, you know? Like, I am more focused on consistency and organic growth than just being overnight success, you know? Like, I just don't want that. And plus, I'm just doing things because I'm just doing this because I love it. Like, I genuinely wake up and I genuinely want to build projects, right? Like, I just genuinely want to show people what I can do and ask and answer questions and teach people stuff. Like, that's all I care about. And could you imagine if I have millions of people watching me? That's gonna be more stressful. Like, I'm gonna have to like look at the chat every single time. I'm gonna have to feel pressure to answering questions 24/7, and I'm never gonna get my job done. You know, so you can imagine that it can be a little bit more frustrating. I'm not that it'd be frustrating, but it could be a little bit more overwhelming. You know, so with stuff like this, I actually prefer this a lot more better because it's a lot more slower paced. I can code, I can focus, and I can also answer questions too. So that's what makes me that makes it a lot more better in my opinion. I recently came across Figma UI design. Have you ever tried Figma? Yes. I mean, I use Figma actually. Is this a project to learn? Yes. Do you do this after work? I actually do it before work. So right now, if you look at the time, it's currently 2:43 right now. I wake up pretty early, and I usually work around 7 a.m. and I work for about 8 hours, and then I just go to sleep, or I focus on my own stuff and I go to sleep. So yeah, like I usually just do this outside of work, and I don't mind it. Like I have fun doing it, so it's not the end of the world. Okay, I think what I'll do is I'll go ahead and just fix up a couple of the things, and then we'll call it. Well, I think what I'll do is I'll fix up a couple of the stuff, and then we might work on deploying, and then we will move on to another project. I have a lot more projects that I want to work on. You know what? Let me ask you guys this question, because this is something that I'm really interested in knowing. Because I was asking my friend about this. I was like, how many of you came to the stream because you were interested in the project, or were you interested in the tech stack itself? Like, are you like what I'm saying is like, are you more interested in the stream because it's a chat app that we're building, or are you interested because we're using React and Nest? That's something that I would like to know, because that gives me more insight on what types of streams I should do more in the future. Because I have a couple more ideas of what I want to do for my next live streams. Because we're not going to be working on this project forever. Because I have a couple of other ideas. I want to work on an e-commerce app next. I want to work on a NestJS and Auth0 app. I want to work on all types of apps. So it gives me more insight on what types of streams I should focus on. But yeah, because in the past, I would stream in the past and I would only get like 5 viewers. And I think it was because I was mostly just doing Discord stuff, and I think maybe that's the reason why people didn't really like that, because it was just boring to people. But, it's good to hear that you guys are interested in the tech stack, and not only because of what we're building, but, like I said, I try to keep it interesting at the same time too. Your consistency will take you places. I'm sure it will, Ankita. Learning and chatting, both of them, I come to watch you, and yeah, both Next and React, interested towards tech stack. Projects sound interesting to the tech stack. It was programming. Honestly, I clicked because of the stack. Never saw the stack before. Want to check it out. Basically, engineering behind the application. Okay. Maybe I've been thinking, because now that we've gotten Redux working, maybe I'm thinking about building an e-commerce app next. Because we would probably use Stripe for that. And I've used Stripe a lot before, and I really love Stripe's API. I actually tried applying for Stripe, and it didn't work out well for me. I had an interview with Stripe, and they didn't really like me, so they rejected me. That's the cold hard truth. But it's fine. I end up in, honestly, like it's not a big deal for me, because the company that I work for, I really love the company that I work for right now, and I couldn't have asked for a better job. So in the end, it all worked out. So maybe sometimes you should do reacting videos for fun, like a little change. What kind of reacting videos would I do? What kind of reaction videos should I do? I mean, I feel like that would be a cheap way to get views, if I'm being honest. Like, create like a clickbait thumbnail and react to people's stuff and not create my own content. I feel like that's cheap. I mean, it's a good way to make money, but I feel like that'd be cheap. Hey, I wanted to implement YouTube authorization. I wonder, should I implement it with Node or Next? I think Node would be better, to be honest with you, because you want to decentralize the authorization server away from Next, in my opinion. What level engineer are you? I honestly, here's what I think I stand. I consider myself, so if you were to have a scale between junior and senior engineer, I would put myself probably at number 8, so really close to senior but not there yet, because there's a lot of stuff that I have to learn, in my opinion. Do you watch any tech YouTubers? I mean, the only YouTuber that I'm subscribed to is Fireship.io, and the only reason why I'm subscribed to him is because I think he's a good channel to stay up to date with what is new and what is trending, because he's a really good channel and he puts a lot of effort into his videos. That is the only YouTube channel in terms of coding that I subscribe to. I don't really think I subscribe to any other channels in terms of coding though. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what I was trying to do. So if I'm typing, okay, so if I were typing, right, I think I would need to get all of the, yeah, I think the thing is like we need to know who we need to know what the user, what room what room the user is connected to. And I think we could do that with the, yeah, you know, I'll have to think about this a little bit. I'll have to think about this a little bit. For now, I'm not going to worry about this. What I'll worry about right now is this. Let me remove this real quick. Ben Awad? Ben Eward? What does that mean? I was trying to implement Node, however the document became confusing. I saw some confusing passport chases. You know, a Reclet, I'm not sure if you're new to the channel, or are you like a reoccurring viewer or a reoccurring subscriber, or are you new to the channel? I actually have a lot of videos on my channel that teach you Express, and I do cover Passport.js and authentication and authorization. So if you're interested, you know, definitely check it out, and I'm sure you'd enjoy it a lot, because a lot of people have told me that they liked it a lot. So, you know, maybe give it a shot and see what happens. Yeah, I think I might know how to implement the user typing mechanism, but I'm not going to worry about that right now because I got to think about it a lot. I think what I'll do is I'll focus on adding more features, because right now we don't really have a proper onboarding, because right now we have a blank page. We don't really have a proper sign up feature. If I go to /register, right? We don't really have a proper onboarding feature. We also should allow the user to, we also should provide a dashboard so the user can, we also should provide like a place where the user can change like their avatar and stuff. I think we'll worry about that right now. So let's do that. I probably should use something like Asana or Trello to manage my project, because right now I'm trying to think of so many things that I want to do, but it's just like all over the place. Keep going, bro. Good job. Thank you, Sunhawk. Do you think you could land yourself a job at Fang? I mean, here's what I would say. I would say this. I'm not going to say that I am not capable of landing a job at Fang. I would say that it's just a matter of how much are you willing to put into, how much effort would you put into to, you know, land a job at Fang, right? I would say personally for me, algorithms and data structures, I'm decent at it, but I'm not the best, you know? Like if you were to give me a really complicated algorithm question, I probably would, it would take me a really long time to solve it. And that's just the truth, right? Like you have to understand that you're competing with the best of the best. You know, that's the reason why Fang does what they do, is because they want the best of the best, right? They want people who can apply their critical thinking skills in real time, who can solve these complex problems, right? Because to be honest with you, right, in some way, shape, or form, being able to critically think does translate in some way. I'm not saying entirely, but in some way it does translate well with the way that you view the job, right? Because if someone is able to, you know, think differently and solve an algorithm question, and if they can do that, right, it says a lot about them, right? And then you can make a prediction. You can say, okay, maybe this person is capable of solving problems, right? And if they can solve problems, then if you ask them to read some documentation, and if you ask them to, you know, figure out some stuff with React, they probably could. I don't think it's a fair metric to base someone on, because just because someone does not solve an algorithm question does not mean that they cannot figure out a problem in React or Node. Because I'm pretty sure there are people who are just good at algorithms, but they cannot code for shit a web app. That's just the truth, right? There are people who are good at algorithms and critical thinking, but they just struggle with building a web app. And that's honestly fine, you know? And that's why I think that judging people based off of that one metric is not fair. But, you know, I think Fang has a really hard interview system, and I think that it's not a matter of if I would, it's just a matter of how much I would be willing to put in to get the job. And I'll be honest with you, like right now, I personally don't really care about Fang, and I never really cared so much about Fang, because, you know, I've just really always seen it as like, you know, as long as you get a job, build up experience, learn on the job and just work, I think you'll be fine in the end, you know. That's just the way how I've always seen it before. Do you know how to reverse a linked list? I think I've actually done it before. It was a coding question that I had for PayPal. And I did it using recursion, but I honestly don't remember how I did it back then, so it's been a while. Okay, anyways, let me go ahead and implement a couple things. So what I want to do is, so we have this conversation form, but right now it doesn't do anything. So let's actually make it do something. So what I'll do is this. I'll go ahead and type in the recipient's name, or their email address, actually. We actually need their email address. So recipient email. So let me go ahead and do this. So let's go to the React app. We have to go to where we are rendering the modal, and we have to go into the form. And inside over here, what we want to do is we basically want to, whenever we click on the button, we want to basically validate the form. And we also want to make sure we are firing a post request to the API, creating the conversation. If you look at our API right now, to create a conversation, all we literally need to do is just make one post request, and we have to pass in the recipient's ID. But it's actually going to be a lot different. Actually, you know, instead of ID, actually, I should have thought of this a while ago. It actually should be the email, not the recipient ID. But yeah, it should be, yeah, I'm gonna have to fix our API a little bit. So let me do that. But first, let's go ahead and do this. What happens if you leak code of your company? This code is super important to the company. Well, I'm pretty sure you're gonna get fired, and I think you might get in legal trouble. I'm not sure, but you'll 100% get fired though. I think most of the time, if you accidentally leak something, they'll probably just fire you. If it's like a small thing, they'll probably just fire you, and they won't press legal charges. If it's something huge, like if it's like insider information, yeah, you're probably gonna get in trouble. Why email? Well, well, here's the problem, right? We don't really know who. We don't really have unique. We need to use email because we need a unique value. The user is obviously not going to know who the ID of the user is. That's not really public information. Or I mean, it is, but like it's preferable to use email. So what I'll do is this. Let's go over to our controller. Do you know if we can export the Figma layout to HTML for UA? You can. Path of a coder is similar to being a monk. Is it? In what way? So I'm going to change this to email. Yo, what's up, Gabor? How are you? Welcome to the stream. Do I have a working prototype? I do, but it's not deployed. How are you, Gabor? Welcome back to the stream. Yo, we got 37 viewers right now, but do we have 37 people chatting? That is the real question. We got a lot of people chatting, though. If you're new here, like, you know, don't be afraid. Say hi. Don't be a lurker. You know, say hi. Don't be shy. Welcome to the stream, everyone. Indranil, welcome. Diogo, welcome. Die Mantra Beats, welcome to the stream. Dan Hosar, welcome to the stream. Hey, I see you all. I see you all lurking. Don't think I don't know. We have lurkers. We have a lot of lurkers. We have a lot of shy people, but it's fine. But, you know, don't be afraid to say hi. Paul Pugh, welcome to the stream. You can implement a drop-down for the recipient. Yeah, that's what I was going to do. Basically, whenever they chat, I'm going to show the list of users. Imagine working on a number of files in your program won't work because of a misspelling issue. You know, that does happen, actually. That does, in fact, happen a lot of times. No joke. Okay, so let me change to email, and this has to be a string. And so what we'll do is we'll just go into this method and we'll just get the email. And I think what we'll do is this. We'll compare if user ID is equal to user email. Well, actually, first we should find the recipient. Yeah, I don't know why I'm searching for the recipient all the way here. So let's search for the recipient first, and then we'll check it to see if the recipient is the same as the user. So we can get recipient.id, and then we'll throw an error. And then now what we'll do is we have to query if they have existing conversation. So we'll just do recipient.id. There we go. And then if the conversation exists, we'll do that. If it doesn't, we'll create it. So right now we're just going to create it by the email. So watch, if I go into Postman, if I try to create a conversation, it's going to throw an error. Let's do many. Oh, it's supposed to be email. Cannot create a conversation. It's because the conversation. Let's see. Oh, I think I'm logged in as many, I think. Yeah, there we go. So let's create one with another user. I should probably create an API to get all users. Let me log into my SQL database. Oh my god, the linting. Yeah, that's the CLFRF issue. Is implementing Google Auth as the same as YouTube Auth? Well, I mean, Google is the same provider. Google is pretty much the provider for YouTube, so they're pretty much the same. If you want to get this, if you want to basically access YouTube data, you would need to provide YouTube specific scopes. Think of it like this: YouTube. I mean, Google has a bunch of apps. They have Google Drive. They have Google. They have YouTube, right? What else do they have? They have Gmail, right? You need to authenticate with OAuth 2 using Google, and then you have to provide the necessary scopes in order to actually interact with the correct APIs. Are you not on Twitter? I do have a Twitter. Do you guys want to follow me on Twitter? My Twitter is in the description, but you know, if you want to follow me, you're more than welcome to follow me. I mean, I don't know if I should use Twitter though. Do you guys think I should use Twitter? There's certain reasons that I stay away from Twitter, which I'm not gonna really say on stream. But I don't really use Twitter. But I honestly have been thinking about using Twitter just for, you know, just to get involved with programming stuff. But that's pretty much it. Otherwise, I tend to stay off Twitter. But another dead channel. Are you on my Discord server? If you're not on my Discord, you know, why don't you join my Discord and ask your questions there? Honestly, you know, I really should start something like this where I really want to be more interactive with my community. That's why I'm saying like join the Discord, because I really want to answer your questions because like it's hard for me to like think of a detailed, concise answer just on the go. Because I'm just better at like, you know, just writing and just thinking as I'm writing. Which is why like I'm saying like, you know, if you have like very specific questions that are more tailored to like something more complicated, you know, you could just ping me on my Discord and I'll be more than happy to answer it for you. But yeah, I don't know. What's my @ on Discord? It's just Anson. Let me create a couple more users. All right, let's go ahead and create a conversation right now with the email. So I should be able to create one here. So I just created a conversation. Okay, good. With the email, and that's good. Now, of course, if I provide If I provide a user that does not exist, it's going to say recipient not found. Good. Okay, so good. We just have to make that small change to our code. So instead of creating it with the ID, we have to create it by somebody do this. Did you set your status as invisible? Yes. I found your video where you implement Google Auth. I'll try to follow. Hopefully it'll let me get user YouTube info. Actually, it will. I think you can only get it for yourself, I think. If I remember correctly, you can only get it by yourself. I think. I'm not sure. But you can't get other users, though, is what I remember. So let's go on the front end. And what we need to do is we need to go over here. Export const, create post. So we're going to call this API and pass in the data to create the conversation. We'll go into types and let's see, create conversation params. Did I do this already? Yeah, I don't think I've used this yet. See this. Okay, so we'll type annotate that. And now what we have to do is whenever we click on this button, we should definitely use Redux as well for this. So I'll show you how this works. So I'll add the validation later. But watch this. So we're going to dispatch an action whenever we click on the button. But of course we want to make sure we validate everything. So I think I'll just do that right now. And so what I'll do is I will, let's see. And so what I'll do is this, and I'll do on submit, handle submit, and we'll call on submit. And I think that should fix this for us, though. I don't know why. Yeah, I guess we gotta type annotate this. So watch this now. If I go into our app, if I go over here, if I click create conversation, what will happen? If I do this, Anson developer, your room is kind of cold right now. Turn up the cooling on the AC. I'm dying in these walls. Oh, what are you talking about? How can you feel my temperature? Are you in the same room as I am? Let's see. Oh wait, let me remove this. There we go. There we go. And of course, if I don't do that, it will not fire this on us, which is good. Okay, so what we want to do is we basically just want to dispatch an event. So here's what we'll do. Let's do this. So we're gonna use Redux for this, okay? So what we want to do is we want to create a thunk. Let's do this. So if you don't know what a thunk is in Redux, it's basically it basically allows you to create asynchronous actions. So async. And then for the first parameter, create conversation. Will you make it public, like an online demo? Sure, I can try deploying it. I don't know. I'll try deploying it. I'll try deploying it so you all can test it out. And so over here is where we will call the post new conversation, passing data. So inside the thunk is where we want to call the API. Okay. And then what we want to do is we want to add an extra reducer. So let's do add case fulfilled. Is this the kind of portfolio we need for 2022? What do you mean? All right, so let's look at the network tab and let's see what happens. Oh, we didn't dispatch. We didn't dispatch yet. Whoops, silly me. Are you making this for fun? Yes, I'm making it for fun. Before I head to bed, are you a self-taught dev or did you pay to learn programming like boot camps, college? I went to college for a computer science degree and I learned Java, and then from there I just ventured out into teaching myself HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So I don't really consider myself, I mean, I only consider myself self-taught in the aspect that I had, I mean, you know, actually let me put it this way. When I was in college, right, I actually didn't even go to the introductory lecture because I remember the first day when I went to the lecture, the professor was lecturing, but I didn't really understand what they were saying because it was all muffled and they had a really bad accent. And so I knew that from day one, I had to pretty much teach programming myself. So what I did was I pretty much in class, right? I'm not in class. In my own dorm, I would just read the textbook that I bought for the class, and I would learn everything about, you know, variables, loops, classes, object-oriented, everything, right? I would learn that all on my own in my own dorm. Like I never went to, like no one sat next to me and you know, kind of like spoon-fed me, if that made sense, right? And so yes, the material did come from a curriculum in college, but the curriculum was something that I had to take and had to learn on my own. in a sense, like I don't really consider that, you know, quote unquote self-taught, because you have structure, but I don't know. I don't know. You know, people really use that term all over the place. I don't really think so much about that. All I just say is I just go to college and I just had a degree, and I learned web dev on my own, and that's pretty much it. Should I use Angular or React? You should use what you want to use. If you want to use Angular, use Angular. If you want to use React, you should use React. There's really no, it doesn't really matter, honestly. I mean, it just really also, if you're trying to get a job, you know, React is in fact popular right now, but Angular actually pays a lot more because there's a shortage of Angular developers, and there's a lot of companies that need to actually hire Angular devs to maintain the product. So Angular is definitely, I would say learn both, but learn React first, in my opinion, is what I would say. Okay, so right now I'm going to create a conversation. So it says 404 not found. Why is this thing? Oh, it's, wait, what? Wait. Oh, wrong URL. Try now. Okay, so we got a 200. Good. Okay. Now if I refresh, I should see the conversation. Good. Though, why is it with Jack, the developer? Did I do Jack, or what did I do? Oh wait, I know. I remember now. They have the same first and last name. There we go. Okay, so that's fixed. Okay, and I can send messages over here. Okay, and so that worked, which is good. And let's see, what do I want to do next? After we add the conversation, what we want to do is we want to add it to the Redux store. So what we should do is this. Upon fulfilled, you can see that upon fulfillment, we will get the action.payload. Okay, and that will give you the conversation that was created. So let's create another conversation. Let's create one with Timothy. So now you can see that it says fulfilled, and you can see that over here we have all the data of the conversation. So all we need to do is this. It gives you last message sent, creator, created at, recipient. Yeah, I think all we need to do is just literally add this to the Redux store, I think. Yeah, I think that's all we need to do. Let me create another user. Do I know what a child process is? Isn't that just a process that I remember working with this. That's like a process that was spawned inside a process, right? Yeah, it's a process that was spawned. Yeah, I remember now. In the concept of Node, it was a process that was created by the process library, from what I remember. Tips for studying C. I mean, the only thing that I could tell you is just write the code, practice, and write some programs on your own. Practice scanf, practice using string copy, practice understanding pointers and arrays. Well, I mean, it's not really called arrays. It's called, actually it is called, it's called a character array. Strings are called character arrays. Practice that, and then, yeah. All right, let's try creating some more conversations. And so I think what we could do is, since this conversation has created at creator recipient, I think this is the same type of, let me see. Types. So we have the ID, creator, created at, recipient, and last. Okay, yeah, that's fine. So what we'll do is we'll literally just take this data and we'll just literally add it to, the store. So what I want to do is this. What's going on here? Okay, there we go. Yeah, I should fix that. Okay, so over here we now have data is type annotated, so TypeScript knows the type. And so all I'll do is state.conversations unshift all right, let's see what happens. So right now what I'm going to, let me refresh just to make sure everything's fine. So let's create a conversation with our newly created user. So okay, there we go. So it adds it to the Redux store. Perfect. So the only thing that we'll have to do now, or the thing that we should do, is this. We should probably close the modal, and I think we can close the modal after the dispatch is finished. I think this .then.catch actually executes last. I think the thunk is run, and then after the thunk is run, then it will go ahead and run the .then.catch. Well, we'll have to try it out. Okay, so it says fulfilled, and then it says, okay, so okay, perfect, okay, yep. So once the promise has been resolved, what we'll do is we'll close the modal. So let's do this. I want to close the modal, so what I'll do is I'll go ahead and pass set modal as a prop. Yo, shout out to Anson. Yo, thank you, the Vibe Curator. And what's up? How are you? And then what I'll do is, if everything's successful, I will go ahead and just simply close the modal. And we also should navigate the user to the newly created conversation. So let's do this. So it closes the modal, and we can see what the data is. Okay, yeah, we'll do this. We'll actually unwrap it, and then we will navigate the user to the newly created convo. Because you can see that it creates the conversation, but we don't navigate the user. We should do that. But this is good though. Like, we are making our app more interactive. And of course, if an error happens, right, we should obviously display an error. But let me write a commit message real quick. I started building my own JavaScript library, Lux.js. What does that do? Lux. What does your library do? Lass. Is it Lass or Lassie? Good, brother. Hope all is well with you. Yeah, well, I'm doing pretty well. Thank you. I'm gonna be right back real quick. Give me a second. Alright, I'm back. So it's pronounced Lassie, right? Wait, did you guys hear my bathroom? No way you guys heard my bathroom. Are you serious? Holy crap. Wow. I didn't think my microphone would actually pick that up. Sorry about that. I actually had no idea. I mean, usually I mute my mic before I go. But I was like, I don't think it would pick it up from all the way in the bathroom. Anyways, let's see. Okay, so we want it to navigate the user to the new page. Why are you using inline function on change? Why would I not? It's only one line of code. I mean, if I had more stuff that I need to do, like if I needed like to do a bunch of other stuff and call a bunch of other functions, I would probably create another function, but I'm only just calling set content, which is just updating one line of code. So unless you can think of a better way to do that, let me know. React is bad for performance, does it? Interesting. Let me see, I'm reading something right now. Interesting. Well, I did not know that. Well, that's good to know. So I will fix that. Const. There we go. All right, let's see. So I want to navigate the user to the correct page. So what I'll do is this. Are you using Prettier? Yes, I'm using Prettier. Do I have a job as web dev? Yeah, I worked at as a software engineer, and we did web dev like 2 years ago. But right now I'm doing something different. It's still involved with programming, but it's not specifically web dev. So on my free time, I tend to just build web apps for fun. Let's see. Where is the conversation? Oh, there we go. Okay, so what I wanted to do is I wanted to go into the form and I wanted to get the data. Do I have to use SCSS when building a React app? No, you could just use regular CSS. I see a lot of people using Tailwind. I've never used it. It looks a bit goofy. I hear a lot of people talking about Tailwind too, but I've never really used it myself. So I'm wondering if it's really worth using it, honestly. Or if it's just like another hyped up... Or is it just like another hyped up CSS library? Okay, so what should happen is we should get the data and we'll close the modal and then we'll navigate the user. So what I'll do is this const navigate equals use navigate. Okay, so let's try this out. Okay, so it created and it navigated. Okay, so we just have to fix this header over here and get the actual user. And we can do that very easily by doing this. So we should have the conversation fetched. Actually, I think I know what we could do. Here, let me do this. Let me go into message panel. We need to basically update this header. And so what I could do is inside this is we have it hard coded, but don't worry, I'll get it for you. I hate using unnecessary tools, but Tailwind is really worth it. You only ship CSS that your app uses. I only know that Figma and Bootstrap have tools to generate code. So what I'll do is I'll get the conversation from the store, and I also want to get the user as well from the context. Honestly, I might actually remove context because we're already using Redux already, so I might actually migrate our context that's storing our user to Redux. I saw your bearer token on Postman was auto updated. We're using a Postman script. Where did you see that? I don't really recall using a bearer token anywhere. Yeah, search stream. Yeah, I don't really remember. Do I want to use a use effect or do I want to use selector const? Unless, actually, I think there's a better way that I could do this. I don't want to do it this way. Is there a way I could just fetch the conversation? I mean, before okay, in this page we're only fetching the message, but I want to know if there's a way I could fetch the conversation. I guess I'll just do it this way. So we'll have to get from Redux. So we'll have to use a selector. Okay, so we have our conversations, and I guess we need to get to select the conversation. So there's a better way to do this in Redux, but I'll just do it like this for now. So what I'll do is conversations.find. But actually, all the state. Let me do this. I wonder if this would work. So we need to basically do a conditional render. So basically, we need to know who the user is, right? So if the user.id is equal to convo.creator, conversation.creator.id, then that means that you want to display the recipient. So conversation.recipient.firstname. Let me just show you the ID first. Otherwise, we'll do conversation.creator email. So watch this. Right now, it's going to show Andy. Actually, wait. Yeah, it's a state issue. Yikes, that's annoying. Type coercion. Not sure what you mean. Do you mean like ID as number? Oh, I guess you could do that. But then ID is also possibly undefined though. That's the reason why I had to do it that way. Because ID is possible. I mean, I guess I could just do this. Or I could do... Yeah, that wouldn't work. Yeah, it's just better to do it this way. Okay, so let's see what's going on. I may actually look up how to properly select from the store. Did I have an example of how they use it in a component? Yes, it is open source. Okay, so I try to click for selector, but it gives me something else. Oh wait, what am I doing? Let's see. Oh, why did they bring me to a different blog? I want to actually see official docs. Oh, I think I know what I gotta do. Let me create a custom selector. I basically want to create a selector that will take care of selecting the data. So let me just do that real quick. Select item by ID. So I guess what they do is they get the items first. State.conversation.com. And then they create a function called select item ID. What's up, 24 Ken? How are you? I am doing good, thank you. And then they create select conversation. And we call create selector. I don't think that was doing it the Redux way, and it was the data was not even there by the time the page loaded. I think that's my guess. And then what we do here is we pass in a function. And what we do is we just basically want to return conversations dot find, where C is C dot this. And so now we should be able to just call this. But again, I wish they would actually show you an example of how you would do this in a component, because they're only showing you how you can do this in just the same file, but like, oh, okay, I see now. Oh, I see. So let's try this out. Hopefully this works. If it doesn't, then we're gonna be screwed. So let's do const conversation equals use selector. State. Pass in state. And then the ID. So parse int. Did I export that? Let's export that. Let's see if this works. All right, let's see the moment of truth. There we go. That's what I like. Perfect. Yeah, so I think I think before, because we were doing it inside a use effect, it wasn't actually getting the latest value from the state, and it's not the right way to do it. You want to actually use Redux, okay? But now instead of displaying conversation recipient email, we want to do this. You know, I could also do this const display name. Let me do this. So if, let's see, if user IDs are constantly created, blah, blah, blah. So there we go. It displays the correct stuff, and we of course we do this. We do the same thing for the avatar too. We're gonna add the avatar on the top, okay? But yeah, it works exactly the way we expect it to work, and that's great. Yo, Abdullah, how are you? Hope you're still here. Coding Freaks, did you ever use React Query? I have used React Query before. Perfect. Let's get it perfect. That is awesome. Perfect. So that's working. Good. Let's see. Did you like it, and do you think it's better than Redux? Yeah, I've used it, but like I've never really used it in the sense where I compared it to Redux, to be honest with you. So I can't really say it's better just because other people say it is, you know. Even Zusna is better than Redux. Let me see. Alright, so we got that working. So we're basically right now, we're just like putting all of the small pieces together. Like we're really just putting all the small pieces together. What I want to do, of course, is I want to modify the backend a little bit, because what I want to do is right now when we have this message field, right? But it doesn't even create it doesn't actually create a message in the backend. At least I don't think so. And so what we want to do is we want to actually have it create the message. So watch this. And also, if I create the conversation, the user will the receiving user will actually not even see it. So we actually should set that up so that whenever we create a conversation, the receiving user can actually receive it. So let me show you an example. So let me open up an incognito browser. Let me log in. And let's create an account. So let's do Danny at outlook.com. Let's do Danny. So let's create an account. Okay, so I think actually I don't even think we even set this up for the backend yet. Actually, I completely forgot. Oh, I just closed my app by accident. Crap, wait. Can I do this? I don't think we created the app or create the user. Oh, I did. Okay. I guess the front end doesn't do anything. Okay, that's fine. So let me create the account. Let me log in. Okay, so we're logged in, right? And now watch this. So pay close attention to both windows. I'm going to create a conversation with our newly created user. What did I just do? Okay, so watch this. It will only add the conversation for RN, but it doesn't do it with the WebSocket. It does it locally because we are basically getting the data from the backend and we're adding it to the state. If I create it, it'll add it for me, right? But on the other user, they actually can't even see it. Right? Now watch what happens if let me refresh. Watch what happens if I actually refresh, and now I can see the conversation. And I can receive events just fine. But here's another problem though. If I go to this okay, yeah, I think I know what the problem is. I need to actually move the... Okay, yeah, I think I need to fix something real quick. So you can see how right over here, if I have conversations here, if I type, I don't receive any events. I only receive events when I click on this component, which makes sense because that component is where we are listening to the socket. So I think what we'll need to do is we'll need to actually move the socket one layer above. So instead of it being in channel page, it should be in conversation page instead, right over here. And I think that should be it. So let me actually try this. Let me delete all of this. Let me move this here. Let's get the socket. Okay, so if I remove that, let's go here. So let's go back to here. So we're still able to receive those events. Good. Now if I go to the main root page, I should still technically receive those events. You can see that I'm receiving the latest messages. So that's good. We have to move it above 1, which is what we want. Okay. Now let me do one more thing. Let me see if moving it above 1 does anything. No, it doesn't do anything. What if I did this? Okay, so that doesn't matter. If I refresh the page, I should still be able to send events and receive events. Okay, there we go. Okay. All right, cool. So now what we need to do is basically whenever we create the conversation, we need to fire an event on conversation create so that the receiving user actually sees the conversation created. Now, what we need to do is this. First, let me write a commit. And so what I'll do is this. Let's see. We'll listen to an event called on socket on or on conversation. So basically we'll create the conversation on the backend and it will fire an event. So payload. So watch this. Let's go to our backend. Let's go into conversation controller. And what we'll do is this. So basically right over here, this is where we are. This is the control that creates the conversation. We're going to do the same thing we did with the message. In the message controller, whenever we created a message, we fired a message.create event on the server side. And then this will basically be received over here with the on event. And then we basically just send an on message event. We're going to do the same thing, but for conversation. Okay, so watch this. And I think what I should do is I should probably... I'm trying to think. I might have to do some I'm going to do some refactoring, but I'll do that later. So watch this. We're going to go ahead into conversations. We're going to inject the event emitter. The same way that we did in the controller over here. And whenever we create a conversation, let's just go to the definition of this. Let's go to implementation. So this should return the conversation that was created. So let me change the type annotation for the return type to promise conversation. So that way we know the return type. So we'll do const conversation. Art13 dev, welcome back to the stream. How are you? We'll return it, and then we will do this dot events emit conversation create. I'm doing good, thank you. So go here. Nabil, how are you? So we will subscribe to that event that is being emitted from with the emitter from here to here. Okay. And then what we'll do is we'll do handle conversation create event payload. And now watch this console log inside conversation.create. So what I'll do is I'll create a conversation right now. I'll create a conversation right now, and then let's do this. So the client subs to all conversations. Well, I mean, basically what happens is they are subscribed to our WebSocket server, and the WebSocket server takes care of emitting the event correctly to the conversation. So for example, if I send the message right over here, I'm going to receive it over here. Okay, but if someone else were to send me a message, it's going to emit it to the correct user. So it'll only emit it to 2 users at the same time. What do you think about cybersecurity as a career? I think it's cool, honestly. Like, there's a lot of jobs you can find in cybersecurity. Like, I know you can work for the government, you can work for the FBI, you can work for government officials. There's a lot of things that you can do with cybersecurity. You can work for a private company if you want to, work on their security layer. There's a lot of things. I don't really know too much about cybersecurity. That's just only the basics that I know, because I had some friends that were in cybersecurity major and digital forensics. Okay, so let's create a couple more users. So let's do this. Okay, and so what we need to do is I'll test it this way. I'll create the conversation from the UI. Well, actually, no. I'm gonna create it from Postman. So I'm gonna log in right now. And we'll create the conversation. So let's do anson@gmail.com. And what's going to happen is we're going to be inside this event. So watch this. So we should be inside conversation create. So watch this. I'm going to click on create. So the conversation was created, but we don't receive it on the front end. But if you look at the logs, inside conversation.create, what's going on here? It's pending. Oh, whoops. There we go. So we're inside the conversation create event, which is good. And so what we'll do is this. We'll literally emit the event to the front end. Now, here's the thing. The way that we are handling it on the front end. So if you saw earlier, we actually added the conversation to the front end for the person who created the conversation. And we did that without using the socket. We actually did that after the promise was fulfilled. But for the recipient, we're going to actually need to fire the event. So we'll actually fire the event for the recipient. And it's actually really easy to get the recipient because we just do payload.recipient, because we know that the creator is already going to receive the conversation. They're going to see the conversation because it's updated after the post request was made. But of course, you can also do it through the event too. It's just up to you. But we'll do this payload.recipient. And we'll get the recipient socket. So let's do this. Const recipient socket equals this sessions, the get user socket. and we'll pass in the recipient's payload recipient ID like this. And what we'll do is if recipient socket, then we'll do recipient socket dot emit, and then we'll emit the event that we're listening on the front end, which is on conversation. I'm going to name this, yeah, on conversation. And then we'll pass in args, so that'll just be payload. And watch this. We should now see the front end receiving this event. So let's pay close attention. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's log in as another account. So let's log in as, I'll just create another account, who cares? Okay, so let's create a conversation. Let's log in. So wait, what am I doing? Wait, hold on. I accidentally created the wrong conversation. Whoops. Let me log in. Okay. And so what I want to do is I want to create a conversation between myself, Derek, and I want to create it with Anson, which is the logged in user over here. So watch this. Look at the dev tools over here. Look at the console. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and create a conversation. Okay, I'm just going to put it on the screen. Okay, watch this. Okay, see how I receive 2 conversation events? Oh, actually, I should receive 1. But the problem is that, hold on, wait. Let me do this. There we go. Okay, so that should only show 1 time now. So let's create another conversation. So what we'll do is I'm going to create another account right now. So I'll move this over here. So we're logged in. So I'm going to create another conversation. Okay. Now watch this. You can see that I received the event. And all I got to do is just add it to the Redux store. What's this editor? It's Visual Studio Code. So all I got to do is when I receive it, right? First, let me just type out this conversation type. So all I gotta do is I just gotta dispatch an event, and what we'll do is this. We will do this. I guess what we'll do is we'll dispatch. Wait a minute. Oh, okay, I think previously what we did was we did messages, but wait, hold on. Create conversation form. I called create conversation thunk. And okay, yeah. So over here, when it fulfilled was when we added it. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. If I am on the UI, and if I'm on the UI, and if I'm creating the conversation, we're just going to add that ourselves, which means that the receiver needs to receive the event. We don't have to receive it. Although we could receive for both, but I think that'll save us another network call. So that'll be fine. Love waking up and seeing you live every day. Quite a good morning routine. Thank you, Clement. I appreciate that. And I'm glad to see you here. So what we'll do is we'll create... So yeah, we already have this reduce already, add conversation. So what we'll do is we'll dispatch this, and basically all we'll do is literally just add this to the array. So we'll do state.conversations.unshift, and then action.payload. So let's go ahead and do this. So whenever we receive the conversation event, we're going to dispatch add conversation, Sorry, I just had to sneeze. So we're gonna call add conversations, which is going to be a reducer that is coming from here, right? We're exporting the add conversation reducer, and we're gonna basically just pass in the payload, and then you're gonna see that. Watch this. I'm gonna refresh. I'm gonna go into Postman right now. I'm gonna create a new user. So let me do that. Let's do. What's a good name? Let's do Clement. Let's do Clement. Let's do Clement. Clement. There we go. Let's create that user. Let's log in as Clement. I'm logged in as Clement. Okay. Now let's go ahead and create a conversation between Clement and Anson, which means that right now I'm logged in as Anson on the browser over here. And now watch this. Pay close attention to the sidebar. Pay close attention to the sidebar, as well as the console. Let me move this up a little bit. I'm gonna move this on screen. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. I clicked. Watch this. See how now I have the conversation on my end, whereas before we didn't have it, right? And because we are the receiver, we're receiving this event. Okay, now if we are the creator, if we create the conversation from the UI, right, we're going to add the conversation to ourself by adding it to the Redux store. We're not going to be adding it using the socket, but the receiver is going to need the socket in order to add the conversation in real time. So now instead of Postman, let's go ahead and use a different example. What's another name? What's another name I should use? Let's create a user. Let's call it Ibrahim. I don't know if Ibrahim is still here, but let's call it Ibrahim. Ibrahim, the engineer. Let's create this user. Okay, so we just create the user. Let's go ahead and now log in from a different browser. Okay. So I'll do Ibrahim at Anson.com. 1, 2, 3. And now watch this. I'm going to create a conversation between Ibrahim and myself. So we have Ibrahim on the right and we have Anson on the left. So let's do Anson at gmail.com. Now watch this. When I click on create conversation, see how both users have the conversation. Ibrahim, the engineer, appears on the receiving end, and then Anson, developer, which is us, right, appears over here, right? So let me explain it this way. The receiver is going to receive the WebSocket event with the new conversation, and that's how we're going to add it, right? The creator is going to just basically. So let me put it this way. When we create the conversation from the front end, right? When we click on that button, let me show you what happens when we click on that button. When I click on that button, it's going to go ahead and dispatch a thunk, create conversation thunk. This thunk is going to go ahead and call post new conversation, and all we do is we just basically check when the post conversation thunk or the create conversation thunk has been fulfilled. When it's been fulfilled, we'll modify the state. Okay, now if you don't want to do it this way, you could also have the front end receive an on conversation event as well, right? But we're not going to do that, obviously. You should add some animation when conversation is added. There's an auto animate that it does amazingly fast. What is that? What animation should we add? Is there a way I can see animations? Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess we could do that. We'll worry about that later, though. But yeah, hopefully you guys understand the purpose of what we just did. Was now we can create conversations between both ends, and and they'll appear. And now watch this. So I can go ahead and chat with the user. Hi. Hey. Are you there? Now, obviously, one thing that I do have to fix is I do have to fix the text, because right now you can see that the text overflows, and that's not good. We'll have to make it so that if the text is larger than, let's say, 32 characters or like 12 characters, we'll add ... at the end. That's a very easy fix, though. I'm not going to worry about that right now. But why is it not updating here? Here we go. And if I say hi, I can receive over here. Perfect. Okay, and what I'll do is, yeah, that's pretty much the most part when it comes to this. Yeah, that's pretty much for the most part how this looks. Honestly, like, yeah, like we've made a lot of progress for the past. Today's day number 5, right? Yeah, we made a lot of progress. Is it day number 5 or day number 6 today? Day 5, okay. Yeah, we've made a lot of progress. But yeah, honestly, like it's a good working solution. Let me go ahead and commit this real quick. And let me just also just push these changes to. There we go. Good work, bro. Keep it up. A lot of love and support. Thank you, SCJ. I appreciate that. That's cleaned you up. Can you show us your VS Code settings? Let's see. So I just pushed the code, and now on the. Let me just see how many commits have we made so far. So 28 commits to the React app, and then the other app has about 21. Okay, so yeah, if you guys want the code to this app, you can just go on GitHub, go on my GitHub. The links are in the description. Also, just go there and just clone the repository and play around with it. It's up to you of what you want to do. All right. Why don't you use 2 monorepo structure instead of 2 different repos? I mean, it's not that I didn't. It's more so like I just haven't yet, is what I would say. Because I just kind of just created them too. I used to use Lerna before, but I didn't really use it that much. But you know, I gotta look. I don't really know too much about mono repos. Like I don't really know. I don't really understand. I mean, I understand what it is, but like I'm not really like too familiar with it, you know. So like there's just a lot of stuff to learn. Like, you know, like there's so much to learn that when you're putting it all together, there's always gonna be missing things that you could have done extra. But I have to like play around with that later. But I only have 2 repositories right now, so it's not the end of the world. Of course, if I have more repositories, I would obviously add Lerna or like use a monorepo. Because I used to have a project where I had so many. Let me show you this real quick. Let me show you some top secret projects that I've been working on. So I used to have. I don't know if you guys can actually see this, but you guys should not be able to see this organization. I don't think you should be able to. Let me just make sure, because I want to make sure that it's not public. Okay, yeah. So like, I used to have this project where basically, let's see, like basically I have all of my repositories. You can see I have conversations API, business dashboard, business API, customer dashboard, admin portal, connector API. You can imagine doing this without a monorepo is ridiculously annoying. So what I actually did was I had everything in one repository or one folder, and then I had a JSON file, and then when I just hit yarn start, it would basically just run every single project that I needed, and it just made everything so much easier. But of course, we only have 2 projects right now, so we don't really need. It's not really a big deal. Also, you can push from VS Code. Yeah, I know, but for some reason, I have an authentication issue that I haven't been able to figure out what the issue is. So I haven't really. That's why I usually just push from. I don't know. I mean, I'll have to like fix it because it's just so convenient. But for some reason, it just doesn't want to work. And I've tried managing like my Git settings, but it still didn't want to fix it. So it's kind of it's a little bit frustrating. Anyways, yeah, I mean, honestly, you know, I think that we've done a lot for our app. It works really well. Obviously, there's a lot of things that we have to do. We can add an avatar. We can add some extra buttons like info. We can add like a call feature. I think the call feature would probably. I'm probably not going to do the call feature. Maybe some other time. Honestly, like I kind of want to move on to a new project. What do you guys think? Like, do you guys think like what do you guys think? Should I do a new project? Should I, you know, like implement some smaller features? Like, what do you guys think I should do? Because like you know, like I guess I could add more features, but I would just need some time to think about how I would do it. So, for example, how would I implement is typing? How would I, you know, I mean, yeah, I think for the most part, obviously, we're not trying to build a startup. I mean, if I were building a startup, I probably would not record it because that would obviously be really bad. Small features like to pin some users above others. I could, yeah. You know, actually, there's one thing that I really want to do. One thing that I really want to do is this because I don't know. Some of you were here the other day when we first started, and we were stuck on the database implementation of users, right? Because what if we wanted to create group chats between multiple users? With our current database schema, it's not going to work. We'll have to actually modify our schema a little bit to get it to work properly. And I was like, you know, I could probably implement a better database design, and that's something that I might honestly do, so that way we can support group chats. Because right now, it only works for multiple users, but we want it to obviously work with, it only works for 2 users only, but we want it to work for multiple users as well. So that is the issue that we need to configure. But I think we have a good foundation of a chat app. Like, you know, anyone could literally log into this app and they could chat with one another, right? You know what I think we could do? We could implement like a friend system, maybe like a friend feature. Like we have users like, you know, add each other, like, you know, hey, like, you know, like, you know what I mean? Maybe we could do something like that. We could also add block feature. You know, I really should open up Asana right now and, you know, act like a scrum master and add all the stories that I want to implement, because it's just so difficult just like saying all these things that I really should, you know, maybe I'll do that offline. I think I'll set up Asana later and then I don't know. But, you know, yeah, like, you know, some of you guys are saying that we should start something new. Yeah, I'm open to suggestions, but I think we have a good feature. Uploading images, attachments. Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff, you know. I think what we'll do is this. I think what I'll do is I'll create an Asana board. Let me see. I think I have Asana open. Let me see if I can log in Asana right now. Basically, like if you work in the industry, you're going to have different. You're going to have. Let me restart Asana. Kolia. Hopefully I pronounced your name right. Kolia, how are you? Welcome to the stream. I have no idea what's going on here, but it's interesting. Well, we're just building a chat app right now. Well, we have built the chat app. We're just like, you know, figuring out what are some other features we want to do. But yeah, welcome to the stream. I think this is my first time seeing you here, so, you know, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. How many of you are new? Like, how many of you are here from recommendations is what I'm interested in. Because, you know, on Sunday when we first streamed, we had a lot of people coming in from recommendations. But I think it's because it's the weekday that not so many people are going to be here. But I think weekend, we'll try streaming on the weekend, see. But I'm really interested to know how many people are new and how many people are recurring. I know the people who are recurring, don't worry. I know all your names. Like, for example, I know Masieb. How do you pronounce your name? Masieb? Hopefully I didn't mispronounce it. I know you've been here for a while. I know Clement's been here for a while. I know Dominic has been here. I know Dion has been here. I know I've seen your name. I think like Kixie. I've never seen you type before, but I'm sure you've been here before. I recognize names, especially if you chat a lot. I recognize names. I've been watching your videos for a while. Came to the stream a few times. Found this stream from my homepage. LOL. Yo, what's up, Bezo? Welcome to the stream. Moss is enough. Okay. I'm from recommendations. Nice. Well, I mean, you know, like, yeah, like, you know, it's great because we got a lot of people who came from recommendations and we saw them the next day, which is amazing. You know, it's one thing to get people who watch your stream one time, but it's another thing to actually have them come back in, which is great, which is good. You know, so let me just, I'm going to make it more interesting. I think what I'll do is I'll start using Asana for future projects. Cause like, you know, I didn't really plan anything, right? Like one day, like literally on a Sunday last week, I literally just woke up and I was like, you know what? I want to build a chat app.
and I was trying to record a video doing it, but I was like, you know what, maybe it might be better if I just streamed it, and I streamed it, and then it just like a lot of people liked it, so here we are. Like I didn't plan anything, you know. So now that we are you know, so far established in our project, I'm gonna open up Asana, and then we'll kind of like, you know, like create some features, or like write some tickets that we can, you know, implement. Sup, I'm also here from recommendation. Yo, what's up, Eric? Eric Larson. I'm assuming you are from Scandinavia region, right? I'm not gonna assume which country, but I will say that you're probably from a Scandinavian country. Is that correct? I would guess, but I don't know if you would be upset about it, because I know one time like someone got mad when I guessed that they were from Finland, but they were actually from Norway, and they got really mad. So that's why I don't want to assume. But from the name, you can kind of tell, because of like, you know, you can just tell from the name. But Norway, nice, Norwegian. I actually really want to go to Scandinavia, the Scandinavian region one day. Like I've always wanted to go to Sweden and Finland and Norway and Denmark. Honestly, I think maybe one day. Maybe, I don't know when, but I'll probably plan a trip, and I'll definitely visit all of the Scandinavian countries in one go. Like maybe I'll do 1 week in Norway, 1 week in Sweden, 1 week in Finland. I guess you can't where I'm from, mate. This is gonna be a wild guess. I'm gonna guess Philippines. Am I close or am I far off? Philippines. Close. Australia. Okay. Norway is a beautiful country. I mean, the Scandinavian region is very, very beautiful. Like there's no doubt it is extremely beautiful. Like it's really beautiful. It's really beautiful. I don't know why Asana is taking so long. What do you guys use? Do you guys use Asana, or do you guys use Trello? What do you guys usually use? And I gotta pay for Asana apparently. Actually, I gotta downgrade to a free plan actually. Okay, so yeah, I have my Asana board over here. So you can see that I used to use Asana before for a project that I was building. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could create a new workspace. But let's see. Am I even able to create a new one, or am I limited to only one? Because I think with Asana you're only able to, let me see, create project, chat platform. This. I'm not really so good with using Asana though, because I know that project managers tend to use this a lot. As well as like Scrum Masters, they tend to use like I think we like when I was working as a software engineer like 2 years ago, the company that I used to work for, we used to use a software called Rally. Trello is good. Asana is good. Trello is actually really good. Thanks for the very informative stream. I'd love to see more NestJS stuff. Have a nice day, everyone. All right, Moss, take it easy. It was nice having you here. Trello's pretty good in my opinion. Yeah, I like Trello. I was thinking about moving to Australia, but I'm scared of big spiders. Oh, they have that there? I mean, here in Arizona, we have rattlesnakes. I prefer ClickUp. Yeah, I've actually tried ClickUp before. That was actually one of the first ones that I've used. Okay, let me zoom in. Yeah, so basically we can create like a list of all the things that we want to do, right? Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think this is a good idea. I don't know, add section, like for example, I could do something like, what is this? Chat app React, and I got another section, chat app NestJS. And then you can basically just add all your tasks. So for example, I could just say, what do I want to do? Implement onboarding feature for customers, something like that. Maybe implement paid subscription feature, something like that, right? Like, you know, just things like that. And then you can just add your task, and when you're done, you just click you can just click this, and you can actually move this to a different area. I actually like how Trello, when you're done with a task, it actually archives it. It does do that in Asana, but you need to pay for it, which is really whack. But it's fine. I can just move this to the other thing. I can also do it. I can also use board too. Like for example, I can add, like, you know, instead of, I can just do to-dos, right? And I can just move this here, and I can just delete this. To-dos, in progress. All right, take it easy, Eric. And then completed, deployed, something like that. You can structure however you want. It depends on how your workflow is. But yeah, this is one thing we could do. So yeah, like, you know, for example, this is one thing that we could do, and we can just create a bunch of do's. I'll do this offline though. I don't want to bore you all with this. Why not using Notion? I feel like Notion is better for note taking and brainstorming ideas. I use Notion personally for that reason. I don't really use Notion for project management. You could do it though, but like I just don't really like how you have to like manually create the table, then you have to structure it yourself. Asana and Trello already has that set up for you already, which is why I prefer that. When you started learning React, I started learning React back in 2020, so 2 years ago. But it took me about like a year to really like actually sit down and build a React app, because I was always an Angular person. Like I built all my apps with Angular. Well, I mean, I don't know. Are you guys interested in Angular? Would you guys like Angular? Because I actually am thinking about working with Angular again, but I'm not sure if people even care about Angular, to be honest with you. You guys don't like Angular? No? I have not tried it yet. Well, it's fine. Yeah, I mean, you know, like it's fine. Like Angular is a pretty nice framework, but it is a really bulky framework though. But not everyone is a fan of that, and I don't blame them. But yeah, I mean, you know, I think honestly, I'm probably gonna stop streaming right now. We've been streaming for about almost 3 hours, and you know, there's really not many features that I can think of implementing right now that we have not done yet. So I'll have to kind of like take this offline and figure out some more stuff, and just bring you all like more ideas that we can build on stream. But you know, yeah, that's gonna be pretty much it. I think tomorrow I might not stream tomorrow, but I'll stream Saturday and Sunday. So if you guys want to talk to me, just join my Discord server. The link is in the description, and you can just chat with us there. And I will see you all in my next live stream. Thank you all for watching. Thanks for those who joined as a developer today. You all know who you are. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'll see you.